Yo, how y'all boys coming? How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? Just Breathe back in the chat, back with a banger for y'all boys, man. We here today. I got a nice little calm video, a spiritual video focusing on your consciousness. We about to heighten that. I'm about to enlighten y'all into the reality we didn't even know we could live, you feel me? Without further ado, we about to get straight into it. In my last video, I briefed on some of this, but we only breathe with a third of our lung capacity. We're breathing on autopilot all the time while we scrolling on our phone, at work, rushing to different obligations, feeling overwhelmed. While we doing this, we breathing in this survival based breath, you feel me, with shallow breaths. With these shallow breaths, they aid you, they lower your brain capacity, and the most important, they lower your conscience. We don't ever take a moment to recognize why our outer world mirrors our inner turbulence. So we try to reorganize our outer world, not realizing that our breath sends out basically a signal. We broadcast a specific energetic signature through the rhythm of our breath in an 8-foot radius. Us breathing anxiously is basically us riding this anxious field around us. This field doesn't distinguish between internal or external circumstances. It just responds to the info you encoding, that you writing in, that you filling in. Air we breathe isn't just as simple as air. Air is more than just air. It carries electromagnetic energy running through it. It provides the life force energy that's essential to everything living, to existence. We can prove that the air carries electromagnetic energy by doing this illustration right here. We grab liquid oxygen and pour it between two magnets of opposite polarities. And once we pour it through the magnets, we see that the liquid doesn't fall straight down. It gets attracted to these magnetic poles here. This proves that the air has electromagnetic energy in it. And think about it, we're breathing this air in, so our breath also contains that electromagnetic energy. Our body is a battery to this energy. Most of us know this energy as chi, prana, chakra, divine breath. Just take a moment to think, if our body is a battery to this electromagnetic energy and we can only acquire this energy from the air, one of the most effective and easy way to elevate our consciousness, elevate our life, is to go ahead be more focused on breathing air. To heighten the consciousness, you have to take in the air. You got to take in this electromagnetic energy. Us only using 30% of our lung capacity, that's like charging your phone with a USB charger while you on the phone, you feel me? We got to start using that USB-C and start letting our bodies rest, letting our minds rest, so we could fully take in that energy that we're consuming. Instead of breathing so shallow, we need to breathe deeper. Instead of being on the go, we need to take time and rest. Consciousness is in direct correlation with your field, with your aura. Once you realize this, you can stop fighting your external situations. You can start encoding your reality. You can create your reality from consciousness. Each unconscious breath is a wasted opportunity to change your reality right now, today. We waste 23,000 opportunities. We usually breathe like about 23,000 times a day. Think about that. That's 23,000 times that we done missed the opportunity to alter our reality. We entered this realm not by thoughts. We entered this realm with breaths. When you were first brought into this world, you weren't thinking, you can't even remember that thought. But you were most definitely breathing. I know you was breathing when you was born, because if you weren't, you would have been packed up ages ago. No cap. Breath is the vital link between the spiritual and the physical. It's the bridge between our current self and our emerging self. But somewhere in our development, we shifted from soul breathing to this survival based breathing. So right now, take a moment, analyze your breath. Try to figure out where your breathing originates from. For most of us, it's likely shallow, rapid from the chest, the type that only maintains bodily function, while we leave our spirit malnourished. Even the people back in the day, the Egyptians, the Hebrews, the ancient yogis, they knew that breathwork was paramount to everything. They recognized that breathwork is more than just something to maintain our bodily function. They knew it was more than something that was just a biological necessity. Hey, don't judge. But Buddha, bro, Buddha is the symbolism of breathwork. He symbolizes breathwork. Buddha isn't fat. Although his belly is big, it just symbolizes that he truly knew how to breathe from his core. Buddha is a master of breathwork. He is the enlightened one. His belly is so big because it symbolizes proper spiritual breathwork, breathing in and out through the nose, from your core, from your belly. He's the living embodiment of this. Yahweh. The Yah means in, the way means out. It is the in and out of breathing. You know what else is named Yahweh? God. God is within you. And you can connect with God through breath. Or you could connect with the universe through breath. In a verse, John 20:22, he says he breathed on them and tells them to receive the Holy Spirit. You must breathe to receive the Holy Spirit. It's a breathwork technique. You're an extension of God's consciousness, of the universe's consciousness. In Greek, Hebrew, or Latin, the word breath is the same as spirit. That's why I'm putting so much emphasis on this breath work. Every emotion you've experienced, every instant of clarification or confusion has been accompanied by a specific breathing rhythm. With anxiety, you breathe rapid and it's very superficial from the chest. With peace, you breathe slowly, more deeply. Breath doesn't affect your condition, it creates it. The difference between automated breathing and conscious breathing is that the automated, it only occurs to you, but conscious, it works through you, with you playing a active role in your reality and building your own world. You're in dialogue between your inner world and the quantum field. So take a moment. Most of us believe that our thoughts are the things that control us. You believe you control your thoughts, but you're really just imprisoned by them. Most of us, we think our existence is in the voice that we hear in our head, that little yap, that mental commentary. We assume that the mental voice equals our identity. But what if that wasn't the case? We're going to do this practice again. Observe your breathing pattern. Don't attempt to modify anything. Right now, you're becoming a witness to your breath. You're observing your breath. While you're breathing, notice your mind. It's telling you right now that this is boring. This is pointless. This is wasting my time. Like, why am I even clicking on this video? The profound revelation in this is that if you can observe these thoughts arising and dissolving, that those thoughts can't be you. You're just the awareness observing them. And right here, this is where you elevate, you feel me? You realize that you're the observer. This is you. You separate yourself from that mental yap, all that mental commentary in your head, all that chatter. You aren't your temporary existence. You're the internal awareness observing it. Once you realize this, everything in your life changes. How you handle the world's challenges, the universe's trials and tribulations. You move about them a whole different way. Instead of thinking, how do I fix this problem? You're thinking, what is this situation trying to show me? What is it trying to teach me? Instead of resisting difficult emotion and bottling it up, you start to become curious about it. You start to want to explore these emotions. Once you start observing your thoughts without judgment, you actually change the neural pathways in your brain. 7 minutes of conscious observation of that brain yap can change decade-old patterns. When we identify ourselves with our thoughts, we're like an actor who forgot that we're in a play, lost in a drama. But once you become that observer, you realize you're not only the actor, you're the script writer, you're the director, you're the whole entire play in and of itself. Conscious breath is so important because every breath you take, it's like telling the universe, I remember who I am, and staying true to yourself. And once you start sending these signals, telling the universe that you know who you are, the universe will start sending signals back at you that match the newfound clarity that you're having. Your ego mind, the one that yaps all day, telling you that you're not going to be something, the one that wants and desires everything in the world. And once you believe in that you're just these pile of thoughts, this ego mind, it constructs narratives about yourself, about how other people feel about you, about the obligations you have in your life. It exists in constant commentary about past situations, about anxiety of things that the future holds. But once you enter that observer state, you realize that the real you is in the present. The observer can only exist in this moment, in the eternal now. When you identify more with the observer, that ego you, that ego mind, it'll transform. You stop becoming so reactive and become more responsive. Instead of being overwhelmed by every thought, you can observe their emergence, acknowledge it, and consciously choose whether to respond or not. And then this is where true freedom begins. You feel me? Your brain opening up. Breath is an anchor to this observer mindset. Every time you put attention to your breath, you coming back to your true state. It's like home. This observer effect is on the quantum level, you feel me? The effect is the act of measuring of or observing a quantum system, and that inherently changes its state. Our awareness or observation on this system changes the outcome and the probabilities of everything. So if we put this quantum physics into our mind, you feel me, us consciously observing our thoughts, when you become the conscious observer of your own world, you gain the power to reshape your outer world. Have you ever experienced moments where time seemed to have slowed down? Maybe during warm embrace, or maybe during a crisis? Concealed between breaths, there's a 0.3-second window where you can rewire your reality. These slowing moments aren't coincidences. They're glimpses of what becomes possible when you slip in between that space of breaths, of thoughts, of your heartbeat. We call this the quantum pause. So I'm going to have y'all take a breath, but this time you're not only going to pay attention to your inhale and exhale, but you're also going to pay attention to that point in time, that pause that happens between them. There's an instant but brief profound where everything pauses. All that mental chatter that's going on in your head disappears. The ancient Egyptians called this resting in the silence of Ras. It's like the pause between musical notes. Without those pauses, it'll be constant noise. Just like how we take breaths in between our words. Without those breaths, all you hear is just constant yapping. And this quantum pause, that usual mental chatter, it disappears. The constant stream of I should, I must, I want, all that ego talk ceases to exist. In that silence, pure intention can form. And instead of the desperate wanting of ego, you gain the knowing of soul. In this pause, your deepest desires, your deepest goals, they cease to become wishes, but instead they start to become instruction. Most of us, we go straight past these opportunities because we're thinking rapidly, we're on the go, so we can't really understand the profound meaning behind these moments. When you learn to rest inside of this gap, inside of this pause, to be comfortable in the space of what was and what will be, you'll discover that this is where the true power lives. It's not about forcing anything or any type of breath or tension. It's about learning presence with your being and the natural rhythm to your body. In that presence, you're touching a place where intention meets infinite possibility. Like I was talking about earlier, those electromagnetic signals that we send out, that's in the air that we breathe. Our body transmits this energy, these signals, but we're not aware of it. It's at a frequency higher than we could really understand, you feel me? Our body transmits signals that we're not aware of. And these ignored messages, they're getting in the way of our manifestation abilities. This enlightenment you're looking for isn't about having more sophisticated thoughts, being smarter. It's found by journeying inward into your mind, into your heart, and descending from your mental realm into your physical one. We have to build our inner temple with awareness. Your body's a temple. Think about all the temples in Egypt. These temples weren't built all willy-nilly. Each pillar is positioned with intention. Each hall has a certain energy that needs to be flown through it. Each chamber is there to amplify divine energy. And your body is exactly like these temples that I'm talking about. And most of us, we haven't learned how to inhabit our body consciously. We've just been using like 30% of our actual body, of our mind. The ancient Egyptians knew this. They mapped out our body as a living temple. And in this temple, it's different chambers corresponding to different consciousnesses. They knew that breath was like the master key. It unlocks these different chambers. It unlocks these rooms. revealing not just the divine energy that's in them, but the stories, the traumas, the patterns that you went through that was stored in your body. As you start breathing consciously, you may start noticing that some parts of your body start feeling a little bit tight, a little bit constricted. Some of these parts may feel inaccessible, like you can't get to them. Your shoulders may feel heavy with responsibilities that you've been bearing for years. Your chest may feel armored, protecting your heart that learned to close after betrayal. You stomach anxiety about the future. You may feel tightness in your throat, restricted from words that you've never permitted yourself to ever speak. So let me ask you, what are you noticing in your body? These aren't merely just physical sensations. Your body has been recording your life. It has been storing all the trauma, all the hardships, all the emotional residue of every experience that you've experienced in its tissues. All your trauma is ingrained into your body. That chest tightness may be grief you never processed. Your shoulders may be carrying the weight of burdens that were never even yours to begin with. But conscious breathing doesn't only just reveal these patterns, it also repairs them. Each one of the breaths that you take is like gentle renovation to the soul. These breaths work on your inner temple and your blocked pathways. As you breathe consciously into areas of tension, you're not just releasing the physical knots that you're feeling in your body. You're actually liberating the trapped memories, emotions, even genetic patterns that have been stored inside of your DNA. Your DNA carries the traumas from your ancestors, all the fears, all the limitations. In this conscious breathing, it can clear all the fears and limitations that held your ancestors back for maybe going on generations. Trauma, it creates these breathing patterns that get carried down through epigenetic inheritance. Say maybe your granddad, maybe your pops, he had experienced something that gave him deep fear and he never processed that fear. That doesn't go anywhere. That ends up getting rooted into his genetics. And guess where that goes? That gets passed down to your dad. And then it gets passed down to you. That's why sometimes people have fears of stuff they've never experienced in their whole life. That's not because their body just doesn't like it. That's because their ancestors passed that trait down onto them through their genetics. Just as these patterns can be inherited, they can also be dissolved. They can be dissolved by breathing from coherent states. You're not only healing your nervous system, you're healing your whole entire bloodline, your generation's nervous system. You stopping the generational fear, the generational limitation, just with a little bit of breath work, just with healing yourself, mending your body, mending your soul. As you breathe into your heart, you're visiting your heart chamber, the seat of love, connection, and emotional wisdom. As you enter your belly, your stomach, you enter the power and intuition chamber, where your deepest knowing resides. With each breath, you're not just observing, you're reclaiming. You're reclaiming the you that you always were. With conscious breathing, you're aligning your inner architecture with the higher frequencies of love and peace. And these frequencies, they want to flow through you. They're just blocked by all the trauma, all the emotional residue that you've been pent up with. This isn't about perfecting your body or making it work differently. This is just about fully inhabiting your being, your body. You're trying to clear all the energetic blocks that's been stopping you from giving out your fullest expression. And once you get that inner temple structured and repaired, something remarkable happens. Remember how I was talking about them electromagnetic energies, that chakra, that key? Your body produces an 8-foot field. Your body produces an electromagnetic field around you. It extends 8 feet from your body. And this means you're unconsciously influencing everybody that's around you, even the strangers, even the people that you don't know. This field can change based off your age, maybe the state in which your body is in. If you're weaker, you may have a lower aura, a lower field. But most importantly, it changes based off your breathing patterns. Whenever your breathing pattern is chaotic, stressed, shallow, you're broadcasting that to everybody around you. When your breathing becomes clear, conscious, and coherent, it becomes like a harmony. Everybody around you can sense that. Your breath is like a lake. If you get to throwing rocks in a lake, it's going to ripple. It's going to be constant waves going through it. And it's going to disturb everything that's around it. But when you become coherent and conscious in your breathing, You become like the mountain that's reflected on the lake, on the calm and peaceful surface of that lake. You're grounded. Everybody's felt that feeling when you enter a room and somehow you become immediately agitated or maybe even calm without anybody even speaking to you. Or you may have noticed that some people they go around and they bring peace, or they might go around and bring chaos. This is all due to their aura, that field that I was talking about. This is your breath field or your aura in action. Notice that although this person is at peace, once this chaotic person steps into their vicinity, their peaceful nature, their steady nature, it starts becoming shifted. Feel me? But once this person takes a couple conscious breaths, he too becomes this peaceful person. His thoughts are unclouded. Please understand that you're going to receive these signals from other people, whether you like it or not. That's tough. Little kids, children, they're especially keen to these auras. They haven't learned how to override their natural intuition. So they have no choice but to feel these toxic auras. So that's why when sometimes a baby just gets to crying around certain people who have weird aura, bad energy, that's the reason the babies can sense it. So they respond immediately to that energy that we're broadcasting. When a parent breathes with stress or anxiety, that aura gets passed on to their baby, so their baby may start crying. But once that parent takes a couple conscious breaths, calms down, you'll notice naturally that the baby calms down too. This aura and or field effect, it extends to every interaction that you have in your life. Start breathing consciously before you have a difficult conversation with somebody. You're not only preparing yourself for the conversation, but you're also creating a energetic container around you that's ready for any situation that arises. When you walk into the workplace centered around your breath, you suddenly influence everybody around you. People start becoming more energetic. People start becoming more creative. This aura, it transcends space-time itself. It creates something called torsion fields. Torsion fields are like basically just spiraling energy patterns that can change the outcome of reality. These fields can affect probability, making certain outcomes more likely and others less. This is why people who meditate often, they report increased synchronicities and miraculous coincidences. Every conscious breath you take is like casting a vote for the reality that you want to live. Every unconscious breath is like a vote for them same unconscious patterns. Take control of your life. What seemed like fixed fate can be controlled by consciousness. This field isn't something that you need to be thinking about and putting effort into. It should happen naturally. It happens when you focus on aligning your own inner temple. You got to be right in your body first before you can affect and worry about influencing your external energy. Your aura responds to authenticity, not force. Your aura responds to authenticity, not performance. When you breathe from a genuine place of presence and peace, that radiates outward without any effort on your part. This is why some ancient texts state that the awakened person serves by being. Please understand that consciousness is contagious. Peace is magnetic. Now we're going to get on to infinite stillness. The most accomplished people in history have mastered something that you were never taught, and that's the action of stillness. The most powerful action, most of the time, is the complete non-action. We inhabit a culture that worships activity, that more effort equals greater results. This keeps us constantly busy, pursuing the next objective at all times. We never just relax. We never just sit still. But this quantum field, this aura, it operates on entirely different principles. This field, this aura, it doesn't operate on effort intensity. It operates on the quality of your alignment. It doesn't care about your 5-year plan. It doesn't care about the task list. It cares about your frequencies, your coherence, your conscience, your being state. The most coherent state of all is stillness, but not the stillness of exhaustion or defeat, but more like the dynamic stillness of a mountain. Think about a mountain. It looks completely still at all times, yet it's very powerful. It could weather any type of storm. It allows them to pass by. It doesn't go chasing sunsets. It just receives the light. Everything flows around it, seasons change on it, and yet it remains centered in its own presence. When we learn to breathe in this mountain-like stillness, we're able to rearrange the world around us. Opportunities that we could never have forced begin appearing naturally. People who can assist you begin to cross your path at the exact moment that you need them. Solutions to problems that you spent mind-numbing time on just pop up. The field responds to this clarity by organizing circumstances to match this state. This stillness is something that you can learn yourself. Not the stillness of somebody who's given up, but the stillness of someone who's learned to be their own life's organizing principle. The difference between control and alignment becomes clear in stillness. Control attempts to manipulate external circumstances to match internal desires. Alignment allows internal coherence to magnetize external harmony. Control is exhausting, while alignment is just effortless. When you breathe consciously, rest in the quantum pause, inhabit your inner temple. You're not forcing things to happen for you, but instead you're allowing things to happen through you. You become a channel for the universe, for God, to express itself in your life. Now, don't get the wrong idea. This don't mean to just go ahead and become lazy, to become passive. True stillness is still alive. It's very aware. It's like the stillness of a hunter aiming his gun before he blow the gun. Completely focused and present in the now and ready for whatever is going to come. When you embody this stillness, you realize that anything is possible. This is where all potential futures coincide simultaneously, waiting for consciousness to adapt them into reality. There's no such thing as limitations, impossibility, scarcity in this zone. It's only infinite creative potential. You only up from here. The ancient Vedic text called this state Turiya, the fourth state of consciousness between waking, deep sleep, and dreaming. In Turiya, you're not experiencing reality. You're a participant in its creation. When you breathe through Turiya, you're not trying to manifest specific outcomes. You're opening to the highest possibility that wants to emerge through you. This may look like what you thought you wanted, or it may look like something completely different, but it still serves your growth in ways that you would have never imagined. And this is the difference between ego and soul manifestation. Our ego, it uses our consciousness to get what it thinks it needs, while soul, it allows your consciousness to flow through you to express what it needs for optimal growth. Ego creates from limitation and scarcity. The soul creates from abundance and infinite possibility. That the realization that you're going to have is that you don't need to become anything to access Turiya. You're already it, and you always were it. Conscious breathing, the quantum pause, stillness, your inner temple, observer awareness. They're not about creating something new. It's about remembering something that's eternal. Every thought that you've had is just consciousness exploring itself through your unique perspective. Every emotion you felt is love expressing itself through its infinite forms. You aren't a separate being trying to connect with the universe. You're the universe experiencing itself as you. When this lands, your reality will truly transform with the way that you see life. We stop trying to make life work through us, but instead we make life work through us. We become sages whose actions come from spontaneous, perfect alignment. You return to not who you were, but to who you've always been, beneath the noise. Breathwork brought you here. Stillness does not equal the absence of power. Stillness is power. This isn't about enlightenment, but the remaining obstacles that's to the enlightenment that's always been there. And breathwork is like the master key that reveals the infinite potential that has always been your true nature. Embodiment is authenticity. I know this was a lot, but I hope y'all took in what I put down. Just breathe out. Y'all stay smooth.